hello, and we are back at Shit Happens. So, before I bring my guest on, I needed to share something. Um, this morning, yesterday, we lost somebody dear to us as the Podfest community, and I found it this morning, but I wasn't allowed to share until the family spoke on it. So that's why on my previous live, I did not say anything. But now that it has already been posted on Facebook by the family, um, for anybody who attends Podfest, who knows Lee Silverstein, we got a chance to honor him and say our goodbyes. Um, at Podfest this year, just passed away yesterday. And it has been a rough day for me, but my commitment to Shit Happens is also as much as important. And I know you would have wanted me to show up. So, to Lee, thank you for being the person who keeps encouraging, motivating, and inspiring even when you're fighting the big fight. He passed away due to cancer. He was on hospice. So, even though we knew it was coming, it's still hard. So, this is to the Silverstein family. We mourn with you and we are here for you. With that said, this next person is joining me on live. This is the first time we're actually sitting one on one. So I don't know how good is gonna survive this. Because he came on my show, TalkShitWithP, but he came with Mark and they talked everything next gen. And this is the first time I'm having him by himself. He's my he's the little brother I never wanted, but I ended up getting, and I just love bullying him. And his birthday was recently, and he's a new father. So this was his first birthday as a father. So y'all better clap for that shit, right? Let me go ahead and bring on Nick. Nick, welcome to Shit Happens, where shit happens.
How's it going? I'm excited to be here. First off, I heard what you were saying at the beginning of the show here. So my thoughts and prayers are with you and everyone who knew Lee. It was very kind words that you just spoke. Never got the chance to meet them, but I can tell they had a solid impact on a lot of people. So I'm sorry for your loss to start.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm pretty sure he would have wanted me right now to drink Budweiser and just celebrate his life. So if he doesn't, then that's what we're gonna keep saying. But it's funny because when I had it in the morning, I almost wanted to cancel this, but he's been such a big impact on the podcasting world, especially with Podfest. When he found out he had cancer, he decided to start his podcast and educate people and inspire people and motivate people. So I'm like, I don't think he'll be very happy with me for canceling it. So here we are. Sometimes you just gotta keep going because death is inevitable. Like we're all dying. It's just we sometimes it's still sad, but it's the reality of life, right?
hmm
So Nick, how are you? How was your first birthday as a father?
It was good. Well, it was relaxing. I'll say that. It was not quite as birthday-y. I'll
I
say.
know where you would go out for a birthday bash and drink yourself off, and now you're like, nah, I gotta take care of my baby too. So,
Yeah, there were no bars involved in that birthday.
was there at least a beer involved? Did you at least have a beer?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We usually stay pretty stocked here. We have a bar in our basement. Like we're pretty stocked always.
I know. I feel like that's the only kind of like why I also am like I can fuck with Nick like because he likes beer and I know he has beer. So I definitely need to visit that basement bar of yours.
Hey, we're always open.
I mean, when I saw that post back in the days about shower in the beer, because I literally drink beer in the shower, and some of you might have seen I celebrated last year my birthday in my bathtub and did photo shoot in there, and also New Year kind of like. There's something about drinking in the shower in your bath,
It just makes it more fun for some reason. I don't know.
like you can get clean while you're drinking.
Yeah. So speaking of that, we've gone there every year for like the last couple of years. There is a brewery in Columbus, and it's a brewery hotel. Is that what you're talking about? Right.
Yes, because last
Yes.
year when you went there and then you posted, and then when you came, you talked to us about it. I was like, I need to go there because I feel like that's calling my name. So
Yeah, it's called Brewdog Hotel, or Brewdog is the brewery, but they have a hotel where the brewery's in the hotel, and then you can get like a whole kegerator in your room. They have mini fridges around pretty much every corner, including in the shower. It's we keep going back, and we usually end up meeting friends there like every year, and it's always a great time. I mean,
I would
you
never leave
can't go
that
wrong.
hotel. I would never leave that hotel. I'd be like, I'm home. Like, so in case I don't show up to Empowered Podcasting real life meetup since it's my birthday weekend, that's where people can find me. Cause and how is fatherhood? How is little Aria?
It's crazy. It's different. So she's obviously, she is
2 months.
my
Did
first
she just,
child.
yes. And she just turned 2 months, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep, just 2 days ago. 2 days ago she turned 2 months, and it's a lot. It's a lot of things. It's awesome. It's fun. It's
Exhausting, annoying.
But it's been good. It's crazy how much she's grown just like from like when she turned 1 month to now. I think she's grown like 3 inches, which is insane because it doesn't seem like it. But then when you look at pictures, it's like, oh yeah, she's definitely grown.
I'm still trying to get my mind into the fact that Nick is a father right now. Like
You're not the first person to say that.
like it's like, yes, I know they had a baby. I've sent a present for the baby. I've seen pictures, but I still can't get it into my head that Nick is a father right now. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if I can get it in my head yet.
My sister one time told me, she was like, Paula, having a child will really have you questioning your mind because you love them, but at the same time you're really like, fuck this child. At the same time you're like, okay, give me my child back. When you leave your child alone for too long, you're like, I miss my child. And then when you're with them for too long, you're like, can you get this child out of me? Like it's a roller coaster of emotion.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, Nick, after I gave you your child the gift I gave, right, and I was showing people, and now it actually ended up waking me up into actually starting my consulting company about gift giving because I realized I'm fucking good at it.
That's awesome. Yeah, which by the way, that was really cool. That was super cute. Both my wife and I were really surprised by how awesome the stuff was. It was like a bunch of little brushes and combs and things like that, and it all had Aria's name on it. So it was really cool. So
Because I didn't want to send the usual booties or like bobs. So the baby stuff are all the fucking same. I was like, no, even if she doesn't use it or grows out of it, like the box itself with the name and stuff, like it's a memory keepsake. Like she can even end up gifting it back to our kid. It's like something to live on. So I was like, yes, I want this. I want this for them. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna think about it, but I don't care.
I really liked it. So tell me about the consulting. You're starting your own consulting brand then?
Yeah, because a lot of people come to me with, I'm very good at gift giving, like reading people and knowing exactly what to give them. Like most people think when you give a gift, it has to be expensive or something, but it has to be, I'm a person who gives a gift that's thoughtful. So, and most of the time when I give gifts to my friends or anything, they're like, oh my God, how did you know? Like, I really want, because I'm a good reader of people and I remember shit that people even be like, even sometimes my dad is like, how the fuck do you even remember that? Like, that was all these years. Like, so don't promise me shit because I'm going to come back and remind you and hunt you down. So I was supposed to start it last year actually, and I did a poll and people were giving me their feedback of all the gifts I did. They're like, oh, you did this and you haven't even met this person and they're excited. Oh, you did this. So I was like, okay, I should. But last year was last year, life happened. So after I gave you the gift and I did somebody else and the merchandise I created for Podfest and the reactions I got, I realized I should start a consulting company because there are people who don't know what gifts to give, but they want to gift, but they just never have an idea. So, come to me. I will help you
That's
break down it, and there will be a package if you want me to actually do it. And then also it will also be including with match, because these days everybody comes to me about match ideas and branding. I'm like, okay, well, instead of doing it for free, might as well start.
that's awesome. I'll probably end up coming to you for that. I'm terrible at that.
Use my services. They're gonna be here for that. Let me get all your monies, Nick. Bring them on. You now have a daughter, you have a wife. I know there'll be a lot of, and actually Soda is creating my logo. So I called
Oh,
up
sweet.
Soda. You remember when I was calling you to when I messaged you and I was like, I'm trying to create a logo and nothing was working in me. So I
Mhm.
reached out to Soda, and Soda was like, oh my God, I was also about to reach out to you. So I was like, you don't, because I was telling Soda I'm willing to pay you because I know how much our work is. Like, it really does work. Look at my Shit Happens logo. So
Mhm.
she was like, no, I actually need your help with match. I need match. So you help me come up with a match idea and I'll create the logo for you. I was like, sweet, good deal. Let's make this happen. So
Hell yeah. No, okay. Last question I'll ask you on this. Do you have a name
this
for
is
it? Can you
about you,
announce?
because this is about you, but instead you're interviewing me. Like, this ain't how it's supposed to work. But again, we're
Yeah,
on
that's. I'm
Shit
sorry.
Happens. But we are at Shit Happens. So the name is Rap Shit with P, like rapping.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, Rap Shit with P. Like, we're sticking with the shit with.
Hell yeah, I like it. I
So
was curious. That's why I asked, because I was wondering if it was gonna keep the shit happens
oh
theme
hell
going.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I feel like now Talk Shit with P is the big umbrella, and then we are building Shit Happens under it. Say your shit. Now Rap Shit with P. Like, everything's gonna be shit, 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 shit.
You have a
Anyways,
big shit empire.
yep. I will start. I will build an entire office, and it just says shit. And then when you enter, there'll be this building for Rap Shit with P, this building for Say Your Shit, but the building itself will just be called shit.
Man, you could have a lot of fun with all kinds of different branding, and yeah, that's a good call. I like it.
I feel like I fell right into it with this. Like, I can make anything out of shit right now, but not literal shit. So yeah, I'll calm down. But anyways, we are here for you, not for me. Um, Nick, you had your own podcast called 9 to 5, and then you went from being a podcaster to a podcast host. I want to talk about, I mean, to a podcast coach. I want to talk a little bit into that about your podcast and what made you pivot into becoming a coach. And then we're going to talk more about how it is being a podcast coach, because I know that can be easy, because if I, anytime a podcaster comes to me with simple things, it already gets frustrating having to kind of, like, you talk to them and then they'll start looking at you like, no, I want this, but I'm telling you, this is what you gotta do. So it can get very. So we need to talk about that podcasting coach and how it goes. But first, how did you go from being a podcaster to a podcast coach, and about your podcast?
Yeah, so the 9-5 podcast came out of my original brand, which was called 9-5 to Freedom, and the whole premise of it was kind of following my journey through entrepreneurship to ultimately leave the 9 to 5 for entrepreneurship. And it started out as a blog and then evolved into a podcast where
Wait, you
the
are a blogger?
yeah, I was blogging. I mean, I was
I'm
blogging for
trying
a
to
while.
imagine. I'm
Yeah.
trying to imagine you as a blogger. Is that blog still up? I need to go read that blog.
Oh yeah, it was all like really. I mean, a lot of it was kind of like technical stuff, like how to do XYZ in SEO and digital marketing and all that kind of stuff. But if you go to
Mm.
95tofreedom.com, yeah, 95tofreedom.com. I had to think that through myself. All the blog posts are still up there, and occasionally I'll still put stuff on there. But yeah, I did that because I was afraid to get in front of a camera and get on a mic and do all that. So I was able to kind of like hide behind the screen and just focus on blogging. But
Mm.
I always knew that I wanted to get into the video scene, and that's where the 9-5 podcast kind of came into play. And it was more so about interviewing people who have been in the situation that I'm in and how they got to become like full-time entrepreneurs. So a lot of them started with a 9 to 5 job. They maybe built a little side hustle and then turned that into a full-time business to where they didn't even have to work their 9 to 5 anymore. They could leave the corporate setting and just focus on building their business. So it was kind of cool because for myself, I didn't think that anybody could become an entrepreneur. I thought it was like, okay, you have to be Elon Musk in order to have a big business or even just a business at all. So I figured other people were in that same situation where they don't really feel like they fit in the corporate space, something they just don't jive with it. So by showing these stories of people who have been in that position and have built their own legacy, if you will, I it motivates me a lot, and I was hoping that it would motivate a lot more people as well. So that was kind of the premise of the show, and selfishly, I got to learn from all of these different people. So that was really cool. And then kind of through the whole podcasting scene, I had built a lot of relationships with people, and a lot of people were coming to me asking like, "Hey, I want to like do a podcast, or how do you do a podcast, or how do you edit?" Just a lot of podcasting related questions. And funny that I was doing an entrepreneur podcast about how to build a business, and I didn't see what was right in front of my face. Like, people are asking for help with this. Why am I not
There's your
turning this into a
business.
business? So then we transitioned into the business side of podcasting.
But it's funny you say that because I think that's why most of us who are in this podcasting industry or in the content creation world, because I can say that as well. Um, Once you have these people and start having those conversations, it literally makes you see what you're capable of. Because now people are coming to you. But at that same time, you were wondering like, what type of business should I start? But literally, it was right there. You were doing the business that you needed to. So
Exactly.
that's why I love this work because half of the things in my head I said I would never do. It's because I have it bringing these guests and having these conversations and hearing them stories or hearing them say the qualities they see in me that I probably don't see in myself, and I'm like, damn. I can actually do that because they actually see that. They actually think that. Because even right now, people are coming to me about branding and content creating and podcasting, and I'm like, does it mean now like you know?
And it's crazy, like, especially in the beginning stages, like when people start coming to you, you're just thinking about, okay, yeah, how do I help this person? How do I give value? How to like kind of build those relationships in that audience? And you're not really thinking about it from like a business perspective, like, oh, people would pay me for this knowledge and for this help. You're just, at least I was stuck in kind of like that. Oh yeah, here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. Just like giving away everything for free, and it's like there's a business here. we can turn this into a business. We can help more people, and like, yeah, I don't know. It's funny how it kind of works out.
So true. Because even me, I've had two people. Well, a lot of people have come to me on a asking podcast questions, but I have two people who have after I've talked to them who have actually started a podcast. One was who just published recently, and that was right before I went to podcast. I had a call with him. And I actually was like, can I record this? I was like, let me record this because we were on Zoom, like we did the whole thing. So I was like, let me record to have it. But the other one who started it and now his podcast is blossoming and everything. And he came to Podfest and he started telling everybody at Podfest, like, Paula is my mentor. I started a podcast. So I was like, okay, wow. There are people out there who hold you at this level where you're literally holding yourself at this level. Even though I cannot see myself being a podcast coach, it's not the way I want to go. But it was the same with how Rap Shit with P came about because everybody is coming to me with these ideas and I'm giving them out nuggets for free and everything. And people are telling me, oh my God, how good and grateful the gift was, how touching. And I'm like, wait, this could actually be a business because if I'm doing it for free, and there are people out there who really, because there are a lot of people who really don't know how to give gifts. Or that's why they hate the holidays or anything because they don't know what to shop for people. So if they have somebody who does that job for them or direct them, I'm like, oh, okay. So all the skills that we cultivate can be a business. And it's funny because I also had Jamie, producer Jamie, and she was talking about her mom's network. And she was like, Paula, anybody who's already a mom, she's already an entrepreneur because with being a mom, you have to learn to say no, you have to keep boundaries, you have to uh, navigate the schedule, you have to plan accordingly. Like all those things are the tools you need
Yeah.
to do your own business. But most moms have the idea of I'm just a mom. So she was like, that's why I created this so that moms can know that you're more than just a mom. If you want to start a business, because your baby technically is your business. I mean, Nick was selling his baby for engagement just a few weeks ago. So. But oh
Not
my god,
totally true, but I have thought about it.
but that baby is so cute. Like, how are you not gonna respond to a picture with that cute Arya's face and cheeks all over? Like, no, we're not doing baby fever. So, um, when you pivoted to being a podcast coach, right? Um, what are the biggest struggles you have as a podcast coach?
For me, I think the biggest struggle is
Especially with podcasters dealing with them, because I know podcasters are not easy to deal with.
I'm very into the technical aspect of things. So I do a lot of research. I play with a lot of different tools. So I think for me, probably the biggest thing is like almost unlearning some of the stuff that I know so that I can kind of walk through the paces with the person that wants to start the podcast. Just because I've always grown up around tech, I've always grown up around like internet and all of those things. So kind of when you have to walk people through some of the stuff that you've kind of grown up and you've just kind of known for a long time, that's probably one of the biggest struggles. But usually you can catch on pretty quick and realize, okay, we need to slow down just a little bit and kind of get up to speed with some of the more basic stuff before we can start crawling, walking, and running.
And that's not true because technology, especially, I've also realized in the podcasting space, most podcasters are a little bit older than us that were in our 30s and 20s. Like, yes, we are getting this, but most of our generation are not seeking podcasting coaches compared, unless I'm wrong, compared to the older generation, right? With all these online tools and figuring out, because I had even somebody ask me, for me right now, I'm laughing at it, but I was there at one point, like, so how do you upload a podcast, right? And it might be a stupid question, but it is a real question. Like, how does it get to all this Spotify and Apple and all that? So when you're working with older generation, and especially since you are very much into AI right now,
Mm.
and we know there's so many AI tools, and they can be confusing and annoying. Like I just gave up. I mean, you gave me an option of which AI tool to go to, and I'm a younger generation, and it still pissed me off to the extent that I just went and found somebody to do the shit for me. So how do you navigate them through that?
Like AI in general or just like tech?
Just like tech in general.
I mean, I think a lot of the stuff like podcasting really doesn't have to be super complicated. So I think a lot of the stuff it's like once you know how to function a lot of the stuff like how to connect the mic to your computer, how to do some basic editing or the right tool to do the editing like something like the script or whatever, like once you kind of have those basics down, it's pretty simple. There's not a lot of moving parts to it. It's in my opinion, like once you start incorporating video and like that becomes a whole new world that becomes a lot more difficult to navigate. But I think it's for a lot of it, it's just doing the thing. Like if you can physically show someone how to do the thing, it becomes a lot easier, especially when it's like, okay, we're gonna plug the mic in and make sure that our mic is connected like check the little setting down in the bottom corner and make sure that it's the microphone that you're talking to and not your laptop mic. Like once you see that and you can kind of go through the motions yourself, it usually becomes a lot easier from that point. And a lot of people just build it up like it's so complicated and there's a lot of moving parts and so much to learn, and really there's not that much.
It's a mindset kind of thing. They
Mhm.
need to, but you say that you're forgetting that we have Alex who's still struggling with the script.
Yeah, Descript maybe was a bad example. I personally don't use it.
Because I'm about to say, if Alex hears you with this, it's gonna be like, "Excuse me, the
I'll have to
script
cut
ain't."
that clip for him. It's so easy.
Oh my God. So with NextGen as well, right? And AI tools, and with all these, I know you are a technology fanatic. So you, when you hear new AI shit, you get excited like a kid in a candy store. But then for most of us, we're like, oh my God, another one, another one. How do you keep up and navigate all these tools and pick the best ones to deliver to your community?
I mean, like you said, I get excited about the different tools as they come out, and Mark's the same way. So we just spend time with them. We just play with them, kind of like no pressure situation. Like we're not going looking for a tool that does a specific thing necessarily. We just see something that would be cool or sounds like it'd be a really neat product to play with, and then after we've had time to play with it and see if there are any ways that we can incorporate it, like can this benefit podcasters, or is there a way that content creators can use this to improve their processes? That's usually the point that we present it to our community and say, hey, just so you know, there's this tool out here that can do XYZ. It can help you get this done faster, this done quicker, this done better. But a lot of it for us, it's just playing with the stuff. Some stuff we play with and we're like, yeah, this is trash. We're never gonna talk about this one again. But the user experience, like having hands-on experience with a lot of the stuff, I think is really important. Even if you're not looking necessarily for the AI tool that does your work for you, like just playing around and seeing what it's capable of can really do a lot, because there's so many people that go into the AI tools and they don't give it any time and they expect it to do something, or I don't know, there's like a certain level of expectation and then they're disappointed when it's not met because they hear all the hype around it. But until you actually have that experience with it, you don't really know what it can do. It's just all kind of hearsay and hype.
But then again, all these AI tools, in order to really enjoy them, there's so much you can do on the free version. In order to really go deep in there, you have to pay. So financially, like, how many of them are we supposed to pay to just see and notice? Like,
Mm-hmm. That's been a common thing that I hear as well. It's like, okay, well, there's this tool that does this, and that's $10 a month, and there's this other tool that does this, and that's $20 a month.
because
Like,
they do pile up, especially with podcasting. You're paying for Canva. Okay, I use most of free shit, but there are those people depending on your podcast. My podcast is easy peasy. I don't really need the professional look. But most places, even the free shit, if you need the professional look, you do need to pay the price, right? So there's Canva. So you gotta pay for Buzzsprout. You gotta like StreamYard right now because I want to stream in 8 different locations. I'm paying $50 a month. So there's that. And then there's like it might be 10, 10, 10, 10, but by the end of the month, you end up finding you have a 300 bill just for your podcast.
I think the biggest thing, if you're a podcaster and you're wanting to start using some of these tools, one, see what the free versions can do. Like if you have a tool recommended to you, see what you can get done with the free version. But I would really just focus on the parts of producing your show or the parts of whatever you do that are the most time consuming, or the parts that you just really don't like to do. Like don't try to completely replace yourself from the process by getting 10 different AI tools that this one edits the audio, and then this one edits the video, and then this one writes my show notes, and then this one writes, like, pick one thing to start with and kind of build up to that if you feel like you need to. I know ChatGPT, pretty much everyone, if you're listening and watching this right now, you probably heard of ChatGPT at this point. I would say that one is probably the most useful for podcasters right now, because you get the text generation, you get images, you can create images with it. And then now, just today, actually, they released a little teaser for video, like very impressive looking. Like, you type in the prompt and you get like hyper realistic video out of this thing. And I don't know when that's going to be released, but ChatGPT seems to have the most to offer as far as like a single AI product right now. But a lot of these tools, I mean, they do some things really well and they do some things not so well. So you kind of have to pick and choose what is more important to you as the creator, to like make sure you're not breaking the bank and just buying every AI tool that exists just so that you can accomplish one goal.
It's funny you say ChatGPT because 2 days ago Sandy came and we were working together. You know that because we sent you voice notes, Nicholas.
Yes.
I don't know who would be calling you Nicholas. Like, even and this is funny because even when she was on Clubhouse and she mentioned Nicholas, I was like, what the fuck is Nicholas? Because I'm like, even though your name is there, but I'm so used to calling you Nick. Like, to me, you are a Nick. You don't look like a Nicholas at all. Like,
okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because I think, if I remember, this was a couple of years ago when I signed up for Clubhouse. Usually when I sign up for things,
your old one, the one you used as Nick, right?
Nicholas is the old one. Nick was the new one.
The one you're using right now.
Yes, that was my original Clubhouse account. Usually when I sign up for this stuff, I sign up with my full name. Like, I'll
government
do
name.
Nalbach. Yeah. And then a lot of times it's like, okay, pick your username. Well, I don't think Clubhouse really gave you the option when it started, so I had put a Nicholas and it was stuck at Nicholas. So it is what it is. It's Nick everywhere else, just because that's what people refer to me as.
And because also, I think because when I joined Clubhouse, you were using the new profile. I mean, you kind of were using the old one, then you switched, I believe, that time or something happened. But then, so I was used to saying Nick, talk, Nick. Then when she said Nicholas, I'm like, who's Nicholas? And then she kept on saying it, and I'm like, and then I saw your name, I was like, oh, okay, but let's stop. I told her, I was like, please, let's stop calling him Nicholas because you're driving me nuts with that. But I haven't lost my yeah. But when Sandy was here, because I don't choose the paid ChatGPT, I just use the free one, and only because I don't use it as much. But she was showing me her paid one, and it had, I believe it had DALL-E or something like those, and then also Gemini is on there as well, right?
Something Gemini, like that's Google. That's their version of it.
Okay,
yeah. DALL-E is on GPT, the ChatGPT Plus.
Yeah, so she showed me, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do that. So with that, I want to ask you, for those people out there who really don't know the must pay AI tools, what would you say? Like, this one, I feel that let's say top 5, the ones that people really need to pay for in order to get what they need compared to the free version. What would the 5 top be ones for you? And this is, by the way, people, don't come for Nick. This is just by Nick's using and everything. Like,
yeah.
In Dominic's words, I'm gonna say, take it as how you will. So, okay, go ahead.
I honestly, people ask me, is the paid version of ChatGPT actually worth it? And I 100% believe that to be true, especially if you're a creator. Like, side-by-side comparisons, you can ask the same question in the free version, same question in the paid version, and you're just going to get a way better answer, a more thorough, detailed, and it follows directions a lot better. So you can give it a lot more specific instructions on what you're looking for, and it really does a good job of following through with that. That said, it is AI. It screws up. It doesn't always get it right, but it definitely does a better job. And in addition to that, you mentioned Dolly, the ability to create images from text. So that comes with the paid version of ChatGPT. So if you create images or want to create images with AI, that now becomes possible. And I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff without getting like too technical. You can essentially create your own like custom version of ChatGPT that is for specific use cases. So as an example, we had created our own like
I was about to
little
say
bot.
NextGen, yeah.
Yep, in NextGen Podcaster, we created our own bots for specific podcasting tasks. And one of them was like a show notes writer. That is the main purpose of it. So you upload a transcript of your podcast episode or your video, whatever it is, and then it'll automatically get to work for you. You don't have to come up with, what do I ask it? How do I get the best prompts? Like, you literally just plug it in there, say, I want show notes, and then it starts going to work for you because we've trained it to do that. And it's a really simple process. It sounds like it would be really complicated. It's really simple to do. So anybody could create their own chatbot. Maybe it's to write email newsletters, or maybe it's to write blog posts. I had created one that does that as well. Like, you can pretty much create it to do whatever you want in regards to text and images and things like that. So that for me, that's like the number one paid AI tool out there for sure.
ChatGPT.
Okay.
You got two more to give us, like if.
Yeah, I'll give you two more. So I've been really enjoying Perplexity AI. It is very similar to ChatGPT and how it functions, but this is more of a tool for kind of like research, and it is incredibly powerful. That one I think is another like $20 a month, or if you pay for the year, you save 2 months or something like that. But I've been using it almost as like a Google replacement. Like, instead of using Google search, I'll go to that and ask it questions, like complex questions. One of them, so I just got a new phone, and my wife and I were
That's why you have your old account on on Club.
Yeah. So we wanted to get new phones. We wanted to switch carriers, but I didn't want to have to go through do all the research and everything. I ended up doing that. And then after the fact, I was like, I can try typing that into Perplexity. So I asked Perplexity, I was like, I'm looking for a new cell phone plan. This is the phone we want. We need 2 lines, unlimited. I want you to compare AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. And then it went through, scoured the internet, found all of these different sources, found the best deals for Verizon, the best deals for AT&T, and the best deals for T-Mobile. And it was exactly what I had done manually.
And you didn't get that.
Answer, and it did it in like a couple seconds.
Even though you had to constantly go back and forth with Google.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're logging into AT&T, you're messing with that, then you have to go over into Verizon and mess with that. It literally gave me everything in seconds. And what's really cool...
Flights.
What?
Imagine with flights when you're traveling, because you guys go to Florida for Halloween or something, whatever your anniversary thing is. Imagine looking for flights in there.
Yeah, I haven't done travel in there yet, but I have to imagine it's pretty good.
I need you to do that and give me a feedback on that.
I can do that. Yep. What's cool with that, I know a lot of people have complained about ChatGPT, like if they're doing research with it and the sources that it gives back, sometimes it makes up sources, or sometimes it doesn't give you the correct sources, like where it actually got the information. And what's cool with Perplexity is it will give you all of these sources. And with that pro version, like, it'll scan 20 sources at a time and it'll list them all out for you. So even if you wanted to do additional research, like T-Mobile pops up, I can click on the little link next to it and it'll take me to T-Mobile's website where it's showing me the big deal that they have running right now on the phone, or take me to a YouTube channel where someone does a breakdown between the three, or like it's so incredibly powerful. And I've been using it a lot for learning new things. Like, if you want to learn how to edit a podcast, You could
I
type
mean,
that
I
into
can,
Perplexity, and it would give you the right videos to look at, and it's like it's so
I
cool.
can, I can go study my PhD right now with that. Because imagine doing your thesis with that research
No
program.
kidding, for real. It's pretty awesome. I'm very happy with it. It was one that I kind of put off, but now I think it's always going to be one that I have. I don't think I'm going to give that one up.
All right, and what's the last one?
The last one, probably the one that I'm playing with the most right now would be Minvo. And that one is a tool that basically takes your videos and chops them up into little clips. So you might have seen ads floating around for like Opus Clip and
A munch.
Munch and things like that.
Cause you're the one who got me to try Ocos, then munch, and then now you're telling me something else.
I'll tell you
Make up
what.
your mind, Nick.
This Minvo came out on our radar not that long ago.
The one where on NextGen you guys had the guy there to show. I know I had to duck out a little bit early, but I was a little bit impressed because the thing with I've been using I used Opus Clip, what? Oh my God,
Opus, yeah.
Opus Clip, but for some reason it would pick shit, but it was like it would pick like where we're not talking sense, and as soon as the sense is coming, it's like I would get very few of where it actually is there, or I'm like, okay, I needed you to go a little bit longer, or I needed you to start a little bit longer. So it was like,
and I had the same problem. That's why, and that was the same with Opus Clip and with Munch, where it got a lot of it, but it didn't get like the beginning part that was like really actually the good part, or the end where it was like you cut off right before like the punchline of the whole thing. Where Minvo really impressed me was you have control over that. So it will automatically pull the clips for you, just like these other tools. But then you have so much more control over the actual finished download. You can edit it. It's almost like a little like easy to use video editor. Like they have a text based, like select the words, delete them if you don't want them kind of thing. Kind of like how Descript works. But you just have so much more control over the finished product, and it's not just like, here's my video, okay, now here's my clips. And that is the reason why I've been so heavy on it, because AI is really cool, but it's not meant to just completely replace what we do. We need to have our own, like, bring our own self into some of the content that we're creating. It can't just be all AI generated. And I felt like with some of these video tools, it's taking the person out of it. It's taking the creative control out of the creator and putting it in AI. And I just, as much as I like AI, I don't think that that's the right way to go about it.
Which I'm gonna come to that because I have a question on that. But I believe you guys have affiliated link for Minvo.
Yeah.
What's the link?
Uh,
What's the affiliation link? Do you have like the code, or do they put in a code?
It's not a code. I can put it in the little private chat here.
Yes, put it, and then I'll take it and plug it here.
Thank
But
you.
I was gonna ask with, oh God, did I lose you? Did I leave?
I'm still here.
Okay. I was thinking, do you think AI is, because sometimes when I really am tired of thinking, like I'm like, you know what, I ain't got time to keep thinking anymore. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and let it do the thinking for me. While back in the days when AI wasn't still like a visible tool or available, I know AI has been there longer. We had to still figure the shit out. Even you're gonna maybe put it aside for 2-3 days and then you come back. So do you think it's making us more lazier a little bit? Because we have all these tools that kind of do, yes, we still have to partake in it, like read through and edit and everything, but in general, do you think we are slowly losing our creative mind because we are so much getting we are relying on these tools to be like, yeah, AI is gonna do that for me. Like I'm gonna go ask AI. I'm gonna, because it's easy to fall in that and to rely on that. We as humans, as soon as we find something that works for us, we just stop using our minds and just leave it at that.
I I can see that. Like I feel like for some people it will become that. And I mean, you're also going to have people who just abuse it. That
Oh yeah.
they get the content, they don't edit it, like they don't care. It's just like whatever ChatGPT spits out, like boom, that's what I'm using. Where I like to use it is kind of like a brainstorm partner for a lot of things. So if I'm looking for maybe it's video ideas for the next YouTube video that we're going to do, or maybe it's a podcast episode, whatever it is, a lot of times it'll give me ideas, like it'll spit out all the ideas, but those ideas give me other ideas. And it's not just me taking, okay, yep, I'm going to use this idea and just run with it. Like a lot of times it's like, ooh, there's this idea that it gave me. It's okay, but if I did this, it would be better. And sorry, I don't have like specific examples that I can come up with off the top of my head.
True. I know that's so true because I was coming up with a name for our because they needed me to come with an event name for our Pod Atlanta meetup at end of the month. And I went to AI and he kept like I literally made him do 3 times. So he gave me like, and it gives you always until 10 or 12, sometimes even 15. I don't know why those numbers. But then I looked at all of them, like I never just pick one. I always like, oh, this part sounds good, but I will go with this. So I still end up using my creative mind, but I know there are those people out there who are just like,
I'm going to take number 2. We're done. Game over.
Because there was one time there was a post that happened and somebody literally was like, AI wrote that shit because that word AI uses and there's and she wasn't lying because I went back to look at the good thing once you're logged into ChatGPT, all your memories are there of everything. And I looked at every shit and I was like, oh my god, this word keeps on appearing. AI constantly uses this word. So people can tell, say, oh, be creative. Like use the AI, but be creative.
100%. And yeah, there are people that have gotten really good at sniffing out content that was written by AI. So yeah, I mean, it's a good tool to get you either a first draft or to get the wheels turning. But I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe in the next couple of years, it just kind of does everything for you. I don't know. But as of right now, it's a tool to be used with you, not replace you.
Once Arya starts walking where you can't literally just leave her on the bed, on the floor, and she's fine, she starts walking, you're gonna be like, fuck it, AI, just do the damn shit, because now I gotta chase my toddler around.
That's okay. So I just getting into like the tech stuff. There is a tool that I purchased, and that's actually how I got Perplexity, like for the whole year, whatever. It's supposed to automate a lot of things. Like it connects to your apps. You like go online, you log into your different apps that you use, it connects to it, and then you speak to it, almost like a little walkie-talkie or like a miniature phone. You talk to it and tell it what you want, and then it'll go do it. So it's almost like how Siri or Google Assistant was supposed to work.
Actual human version of Alexa. Alexa, play this, but this actually.
Yeah, and then it doesn't play what you want, and it's just terrible. So it's like that, but you can actually train it. So if you go on Siri or Alexa or whatever, and you ask it to do something, I don't know how many times I've heard, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like, just, okay, well, then why do I even have you? This one, like one of the examples that I had seen, they went onto their computer in like training mode, and then they went through the process of going like into Midjourney, which is another AI tool, created an image inside Midjourney, and it was basically like training and showing this AI how to do it. And then he was able to go to his little thing and say, hey, create a picture of a puppy in Midjourney. And then it goes, does the thing, and then spits back the image because it knows the steps.
Oh, wow. So in short, once area starts working, we have to be very sure, is it Nick actually talking to us or Nick 2.0?
Yeah.
Now, before we get
That's
rabbits
it. It's called a
R1.
Rabbit R1. That's the name of it. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
And it is just me. We are live on Shit Happens without Paula. Oh no. Okay. This is a new one. Hang tight, everybody. I wasn't prepared for this, otherwise I'd probably have some stuff to bring to the table. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
welcome to Shit Happens where shit happens. I feel like even when I brought Mark on, I had technical difficulties. Now I have Nick on and I had one technical difficulty. I feel like Mark and Nick, and it's funny because you're like AI geniuses people, but then you bring, I don't know, maybe my thing is like, we don't like AI, so get these people out of here.
I was talking with Mark a lot today, and I think Mark does something to technology, like when he's around it starts freaking out.
And he got very excited about this. I'm not sure. Maybe he was doing a rain dance or something. But Nick, thank you very much. And we are almost to an hour. And I know you gotta go get baby Aria bathed and ready for bed. So before we leave, I have one important question. How important is show notes as a podcast coach? How important is show notes?
So it depends on your definition of show notes. Are you talking on the app or on a website?
You see, and I feel like I remember us having this conversation at Clubhouse at one time, and you asked, I don't know. I don't even think I do show notes. I don't even understand the definition of show notes, to be honest, or the importance, because my podcast is my podcast and I just run it the fuck I want to run it. So you tell us.
So, okay. We actually, Mark and I had this disagreement. So I call show notes the description or the page that you create on your website for the podcast that talks about what goes into it, any kind of resources, etc. Mark was saying that show notes is on the podcast app, the little description that tells you about the episode. Very similar, but kind of where they exist. He was calling that show notes. I was calling the website show notes. And we post that question online, like to the social medias, and it is like totally split. Like some people feel one way, some people feel the other. I always call the app, like the app deal, like an episode description. That's how I've always just like referred to it. Like,
me too.
the
like
description of the episode.
The shit that shows up on my podcast, what I write is what the conversation is about and the person's bio and information. So I just call it. I don't call it show notes. I just call information for podcast information.
So depending on who you talk to, that would be show notes. I do think regardless if you have a website or not, it is very important. And if you have a website, I would say even better, because SEO is something that a lot of podcasters don't take advantage of, which is search engine optimization. It's when someone goes into Google and they type a question or they type in some words, what shows up on Google. Podcasters, their shows can show up on Google. So think of the billions of people that are using Google every single day to get their answers solved. You probably have questions or you have episodes that solve people's problems, but you're not showing up on Google if you're not using that show notes. So using keywords that people might search for, like if you're doing a podcast episode, I'm just going to use like how to grow on Instagram. You did a podcast episode about how to grow on Instagram. There are people right now typing that into Google saying, how do I grow on Instagram? So if your show notes is talking about how to grow on Instagram using that word in there and other things about Instagram growth and tips for growing on Instagram, like things that you would discuss in the episode, people are going to find that in search and then land on your episode. And it's even more important because if it's just the description, if you don't have a website, it's going to take them to whoever your host is. So it's going to take them to Spotify or Buzzsprout or wherever that is. But if it's your own website, then people are coming to something you own and they're becoming introduced to everything that you have going on your website and your community, and ultimately everything that you do, you're bringing them into your home essentially, not kind of using the billboard that's over here to give them information. So podcasters in general don't pay enough attention to SEO. It's a huge opportunity to gain a lot more traction for their shows.
To do that better, and my website is finally on the works, because when Nick found out I didn't have a website, I was like, "What the fuck? You don't have a website?"
Yeah, what are you
That was
doing?
one time I needed. I gave him a chance to shit on me, and as we come to an end, I actually want to say, by the way, people Google yourself. I was always Googleable because of my background and who the fuck I am. But after I became a podcaster and my podcast is everywhere, like when I Google myself, they're like 6, 7 pages because of all the platforms and shit you're in. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. I'm going to start using the tagline, Google me, bitch. Because
Yeah.
I had that one time somebody was like, Google me, bitch. And I was like, damn, I can't wait to be able to say that. So now I say it. But Nick, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and teaching us all about AI and podcast coach and show notes. Let the people know where they can find you, what you're up to about NextGen, and also a little advice for those who are not sure if they should hire a podcast coach.
Yeah. So
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. So you can find me on pretty much any social media at 95free. You can see it on the screen there. She's got it pulled up. It's all spelled out NINEFIVEFREE. And then if you want to get in touch with us in the community, talking about AI and podcasting, that is nextgenpodcaster.com. That pretty much kind of the stuff that we had talked about today. We dive into all the AI stuff. We show how podcasters and creators can start using those tools to make their lives easier, not harder, hopefully. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We do live sessions, so you'll get live interaction with Mark and myself twice a month. We do these training sessions. So troubleshooting, showing the new stuff that we found. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We really enjoyed doing that. And then what else was it? Oh, about
Why should people hire a podcast coach?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the beginning stages of doing a podcast, maybe you're thinking about doing a podcast. I mean, I know how difficult it is to get started. There's a lot of emotions. Like I said in the beginning of this, I was terrified to do it. It was something that I had to overcome, and having a coach there to kind of be your support, but then be able to kind of show you the technical side of things, show you based on the experiences that they've had. I know people that I help with their shows, they do better than I did because I made a lot of mistakes and I've been able to learn from them. And like that experience, I think that a lot of podcast professionals can bring can really help you get to where they're at a lot faster. And yeah.
Are you gonna come up with a new show? Because I know right now you don't have a podcast.
Yeah, actually, Mark and we've been dragging our feet on it, but yes, we have.
I know. I'm like, Empowered Podcast came before NextGen, while you announced NextGen before Empowered. So what the fuck are you guys doing? I mean, yes, you became a father, but damn it.
We've been having some creative hurdles that not even ChatGPT can help us with. We don't want to make something that's the same as everything else. We want to change it. But yeah, so there will be a show coming. There will be a show. It'll be focused around AI, and that's about all I have for
in short, join us at our Empowered Podcasting meetup in real life that's happening in June 27th to the 30th, which will be my birthday weekend and Mark's anniversary weekend. So come celebrate with us, come learn, come create some content. And until then, I think I had something I was going to ask you real quick, but I forgot. But it is what it is. Shit happens. And well, thank you for hanging out with me at Shit Happens. And for all those who are tuning in live, thank you for spending your time with us. And for you who's going to watch live, bring on your questions or join us tomorrow morning at the Empowered Podcasting Room in Clubhouse, 7 a.m. We will be sharing our wins and spinning the wheel. Come join the fun. Until then. All right.